Hello and welcome back to another piano video. We're going to continue our series about all the major and minor chords, and today we're going to pick up with where we left off yesterday. So let's go to the keyboard and let's explore some more of the way that we can have two names to different black keys, depending on how we refer to them. So yesterday we've been building a picture based on the Moonlight Sonata, right? So we learned C sharp minor, we've learned G sharp major, we've learned C sharp major, okay? And my homework for you was to pick any black key at random and then try and figure out what would be the two names of its major chord. And then for fun, maybe throw in the minor chord too while we're at it. So I told you to pick anything. I'm going to pick something at random. So I'm going to pick this black key. So we see the three black notes here. So it's the rightmost one. Okay? It could be this black key too, right? They're all the same note. But the idea will be I find the key signature. And then from that, I'm going to be able to find the chord of that key. Okay? If you picked a different key, follow along because the principle is exactly the same. So first of all, we take the black note and we want to look at its neighbors, right? So the white key immediately to the left, right? This black key will be the sharp of that. And then the white key immediately to the right, this black key would be the flat of that note. Okay, so what are these white keys? To quickly review, last time I taught you a way that you could expand your home base. So the very first thing I taught you was just to find all the C's on the piano, right? That's all the C's. How do we do that quickly? It was by looking at this nice pattern in the black keys. So you always have two black keys, three black keys. Two black keys, three black keys. So the thing that all you had to remember is that everywhere you see the two black keys together, the white key immediately to the left is C. So what I did yesterday is I taught you a way to expand that. It was the BC EF clusters. How did that work? Well, first of all, everywhere you know there's a C, what you notice is that the C and the white key to the left of it, there's no black key here, right? So if you go backwards in the alphabet, the letter before C is B. So instead of just knowing all the C's, what you can now know is that all the BCs are the two notes immediately to the left of this black key here. And then you could expand that because you'll notice another nice pattern on the piano that to the right of these two black keys, there are also two white keys together. What are these? Well, we just went up the alphabet. B, C. This middle note here is D. So that means this one to the right is E. So E, F. So we know B, C, E, F. I think that's the song, but anyway. So that is B, C, E, F. I can go anywhere. So now I know E, F are the two white keys that are together to the right of the two black keys. And then B, C are the two white keys that are to the left. Once you know that, the rest of the piano becomes easy to find. So to go back here, what was this black key's name? Well, okay, I know that the closest, if I look at this here, well, here's two black keys. So on the left is the BC cluster. So this black key is immediately to the right of here, which is B. So it's B flat. What's the note on the other side? Well, just go down the alphabet. So from B, we go to A. So this is A sharp. All right, so B flat, that may be familiar. If you go back and rewatch some of the earlier videos or you remember, we went down the circle of fifths and we found that actually only after two steps we hit B flat. So when we add flats to our keys, the rule was for every time we go down 5 notes from C, so down the circle of fifths once, twice, so we go down twice, that means we add 2 flats. the quick way to remember how to add the flats, it goes to something I said yesterday. Imagine this, you chop the piano, put a mirror here, and then, so we remember, we've done a lot with the sharps. We played around with them in the last few videos, right? So if you imagine this mirror, here's what the sharps, the order that you add them in. What you want to do is imagine just a mirror image here. So what you have is, okay, so now ignore this and then repeat that. So this one is familiar because earlier when we did the circle of fifths down, that was the order we added the flats. So this list is going to become important for later, but right now what we need to do is just quickly refresh so that two flats, B flat, E flat. So for B flat major, we only add 2 flats. Well, we've got the B flat. We've inherited that from F major, which just has 1 flat, right? We went down another time. So that means between B flat and B flat, we add this, when we hit the E, we make it flat. So that was B flat major. But as we saw yesterday, this is a black key. It can have 2 names. It can also be A sharp major. How does that work? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go a little further than where we went in the last video. I taught you about double sharps. So let's go up. Let's go up the circle of fifths, and we're going to keep going up until we hit A sharp. Okay, so let's start here, right at the bottom. We're going to go quite a way, so that's why I'm going all the way to the bottom C. Okay, so once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, oh boy, 10 times. That means there's 10 sharps in A sharp major. So there's a reason why composers generally will, if there's ever a piece with these notes in them, they're going to call it B flat major, because that's only 2 flats that you have to tell the player to play. Later on I'm actually going to do a whole series on how to read music. So everything we're learning is going to come together visually. I'm going to teach you how to look at something like this and be able to read it and turn it into the notes you play and understand this. Okay? So for now, what is important to know is that every time we add a flat, it gets written on the line and you remember to play it. So if I put 10 sharps in there, that's a lot for you to remember. Sometimes you will see that. It depends on the piece. Yesterday and the day before I showed you with the Moonlight Sonata, the reason why you had G sharp major and C sharp major is because the piece is in C sharp minor. And when we are playing with the chords, the relative, sometimes you can go into what's called the different relative keys and you can borrow their chords. That's a lot of what's happening there. And so Beethoven isn't going to suddenly just put flats in there when everything is sharp. So that's why we run into that. And likewise, it's possible you could run into A sharp major, which would look exactly, it's identical keys to B flat major. Okay? But what this does is this gets us thinking about what we're doing when we add the sharps or flats. So to think of this as A sharp major, what we want to do is add 10 sharps. So let's just take this a step further than we did yesterday. So going up, the way we did our little walk with our fingers, we're going apart by fifths. We start on F sharp, so this is the 7th, this is the 8th. So remember this here would be F double sharp. And then we're going to just keep going up by fifths, the same distance. So 9 and then 10. So what is it? We're on a D and we're on an A. So what's happening here is just like we canceled the F and we leveled it up to F double sharp here, what's happening here is we're also canceling the 2nd sharp, so the C sharp, we're leveling it up to a C double sharp. And then right here, what we're doing is we're canceling the 3rd in the list, so the original G sharp, we're leveling it up to a G double sharp. Okay, let's put this all together here. Between A sharp and A sharp, all right? what are all the notes I'm going to hit? Well, I know that B is sharp, right? I know that E is sharp, okay? So these notes are there. Now, C is double sharp. So instead of C, we're going to play this D note because that is 2 semitones up from C. So there's our notes, okay? We know that D is sharp, right? That didn't get canceled. That was the 4th sharp to add, and it got left alone. We didn't add an 11th sharp. So there's all our notes, okay? We got just a few more to fill in. Well, F is double sharp. So it's the G key, 2 semitones up from F. And G is double sharp. So that is playing the A, 2 semitones up from G. I'm going to go, excuse me, I'm going to go through this scale. I'm going to name the notes I hit. A sharp, B sharp, D double sharp, D sharp, E sharp, G double sharp, or F double sharp, sorry. So F double sharp, G double sharp, A sharp. So that is, on this black key, that is like the other identity. If you will, there's this mirror world. So on the left side of the mirror world, we got to B flat major after 2 steps. On the right side of this mirror world, we got to the same scale, but it's other identity, it's sharp identity, if you will, right? We got there by going 10 steps. Notice that 10 plus 2 equals 12. That's because there are 12 keys, right? So that is the number. Okay, so if we go down to add 2 flats, well, the other key is going to be whatever the remainder from 12 is. So there will be 10 sharps, right? So if we had a key signature with 2 sharps and we wanted to know its mirror flat identity, it would have 10 flats. Okay, well, that is actually D major. I can quickly show you this. Beautiful way to put this together with the circle of fifths, right? So from C, we go up once, we go up twice. So that means we had 2 sharps in this scale with D. That was F sharp, C sharp. So C sharp, F. Okay. So let's apply this idea. If there are 2 sharps on this side of the mirror, in the mirror world, on the left side, the flat world, okay, there will be 10 flats to the same scale, but with a different name. Okay, so this is D, right? Now, it's going to really seem weird because this isn't a black key. But technically, if you look at D, what is it? It is actually E double flat. And we're going to see how this works here. Okay, so here's our mirror. Here's our motion that we're copying. That would be it continued, okay? So let's look at the flats. Let's add 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So notice, this here, this A note is actually B double flat. We're canceling the first flat in the list, and we're leveling it up, if you will, I guess leveling it down, right? Double flat. So instead of hitting B, we're going to hit A. And likewise here, this should be E. It should be E flat. We're canceling that second flat. We're leveling it down, right, to a D. So instead of hitting E, we're going to hit D. That is E double flat. And then we have this G here. So what we would have is A flat, the 3rd flat in the list, but we're leveling it down. So 2 semitones, we go from A to G. So putting that all together, what would our actual key be? Well, we need to go down the circle of fifths 10 times to see what it starts on. So let's go here. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat. I'm going to count these though, rather than name them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, and then 10. Aha! We arrived on this same key, right? So in theory, what I'm doing is I'm showing you this rule of make 12 total, and then it's the difference. So 10 steps down the circle of fifths on the mirror in the mirror world, right? we're going to have the same thing, but it's like the flat equivalent. Okay, so well, this is D. Well, if I looked at between D and D, I have these 10 flats. So the key of D itself would actually be, it would be E double flat. So we're starting, this is called E double flat major. I can't think of a single time that, like, I play some really advanced stuff, I've never seen an E double flat major key put in there. Sometimes you'll see chords that in their harmony, if you figure out all what's going on, that chording, those notes are there. So you would actually see it written that way. But technically it's possible. That's what I want to show you. I just want to show you how easily you can use the circle of fifths to find any note, and it's two identities. So we have E double flat, and then what we have is the second note. This is actually F flat, and then we have G flat, and then we have A double flat, and then we have B double flat, and then we have C flat, and then we have D flat, and then we have E double flat. That's the 10 flats that we were supposed to add to make the equivalent, the mirror dimension of D major, which had 2 sharps, 10 flats. So we can do that with anything. In fact, for homework, I want you to pick another one and play around with it. Okay, so as a last little thing, we looked at this here, and we saw that A sharp major on that. So essentially on this side of the mirror world of B flat major, right? We saw that we had 10 sharps. Okay, so quickly, another thing we can always do if we pick a note, what is its minor? What's its minor scale? Well, what we had to do is just go up the circle of fifths, or sorry, up by 3 semitones. So we're on B flat. This here is D flat. So if we find the key signature for D flat major, we go down the circle of fifths 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 5 flats. How many flats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these, basically put your finger out. When you got 5 flats, you're hitting all the black keys. That's a quick way to remember that. So this is going to be D flat major. And B flat minor is just going to be like this scale started on the 6th note. So there we go. So we have B flat major or A sharp major, and then we have B flat minor. So you can do that with this key, you can do that with this key, you can do that with any key on the piano. And what you have today to take away is this idea of this mirror world, that basically the sharps, number of sharps plus the number of flats equals 12 if you're looking for its equivalent on the other side. So if we have something, say A major has 3 sharps, if we go on the other side and we want to find its equivalent in flats, well, 3 sharps, okay, 3, if you take that off 12, that's 9. So we're going to have a key signature with 9 flats, okay? You can practice that. Make that